3 weeks ago, the A's came to Arlington and did not disappoint. The green and gold took 2 out of 3 versus the first-place Rangers. The long ball led the way for the Athletics as they belted 7 big flies and spoiled the Rangers' quest for separation in the AL West standings. Since then, the Rangers have a new look, adding some firepower for their postseason run. With 7 weeks left in the regular season, the Rangers are preparing themselves for October as they try to become the team to beat in the American League. Tonight, the A's return to Arlington to open up another 3-game set. It's Game 1, A's-Rangers, next. We are at Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas, the start of a 6-game road trip for the Athletics. That's one of the new Rangers. Catcher Jonathan Lucroy, and taking the mound tonight for the A's is the left-hander Ross Detweiler. So it's the first of a 3-game series. It's the Oakland A's against the first-place Texas Rangers. You'll see it right here on CSN California. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Texas Rangers coming into tonight with the second-best record in the American League. But Ray, at the trade deadline, that did not slow them down. They added 3 very significant pieces to their puzzle.
You know, it's amazing what a catcher will do if he's not hitting. They want somebody that can. So they got Jonathan Lucroy. He's not only a very good catcher, handling pitchers, but also a very good hitter. Of course, Carlos Beltran, Jeffress in the bullpen. They needed to add some power, especially with Prince Fielder maybe out for the rest of his career. But they made some deals. They wanted to try to get in October, and they probably feel right now with the additions that they have made, they will get there.
And Ross Detweiler will make the start for the A's. Last year, he spent some time with these Texas Rangers, and Ray, he was awfully good on Wednesday night against a good Baltimore Orioles lineup.
Unbelievable what he did. He refound his sinker ball, which enabled him to throw a lot of ground ball outs. He did a great job. 8 shutout innings, and nobody knows what he's going to do tonight against his former ball club. But what he did against the Orioles, especially a home run hitting ball club, he had them very frustrated. He had them striking out. They were hitting ground balls. He did everything that the A's had hoped he would do in making the start, and who knows how many more he will get. But he did a great job against the Orioles. 8 shutout innings, the most he'd ever done at any time. He did it against the Orioles in his last start.
Then the Texas Rangers will send left-hander Martin Perez to the mound. It'll be his 4th start against the A's this year. So that's your pitching matchup. Couple of lefties, Perez and Detweiler. We'll have lineups and first pitch when we come back to Arlington. It's the A's and the Rangers, the first of 3.
A's Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger today at Jack in the Box. Limited time only at participating restaurants. By Toyota. Hurry in for Toyota's annual clearance event to get an incredible deal on the 2016 Toyota you want before they're gone. Toyota, let's go places. And by America's Tire. Your low-price journey starts here.
Welcome back to Globe Life Park in Arlington as the Rangers taking the field with their all-white uniforms on and the red caps. So we're just about set for baseball on what is a beautiful night here in Arlington. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily. In fact, this is as nice a night as we've ever had here. It's 75 degrees. There's some rain today, just kind of very light rain for a good portion of the day. There is still concern about rain really for this entire three-game series, but right now it's beautiful weather. The lineup tonight for the Athletics, and here it is. Marcus Semien in leadoff spot again, then Smolinski, Valencia Davis, Butler, Vogt, Healy, Eibner, and Ladendorf.
And it seems like just a few weeks ago, this young man was on the mound facing the Athletics, and he was. Martin Perez is making his fourth start of this season, 7-8. A lot of ground into double plays, 31 as a matter of fact. So we'll see if he can get the ball elevated to the Athletics hitters tonight. 11 starts that he has made against the A's in his career. As we mentioned, 3 this year, but he is 4-5 combined on those 11 starts prior to tonight.
And behind Martin Perez, it's DeShields, Desmond, and Beltran. Carlos Beltran now a Ranger, and then on the infield, Beltre, Andrus, Odor, and Profar with the new catcher, Jonathan Lucroy. So we get a look at both of the new Texas Rangers coming over right at the trade deadline, Lucroy and Beltran. And the 25-year-old Martin Perez. So he's got a new catcher. Pretty good trade deadline for the Texas Rangers, as we showed you in the open of our show. Lucroy, a terrific catcher. Beltran, possible Hall of Famer, and a very good reliever in Jeremy Jefferson. So the Rangers had to be thrilled with what they did, and they're a very good team under Jeff Bannister in his second year as the manager of the Texas Rangers. So we're set for baseball with Marcus Semien stepping in, and the first pitch from Perez is in for a strike.
Well, you think if we were in Cleveland, whenever Lucroy turned down, he would not accept the trade to Cleveland, which made it very interesting and inviting for the Rangers to be able to pick him up because of his him turning down the trade to Cleveland. And actually, Rangers did not have to give up a lot by comparison what they may have received from the Cleveland Indians if Milwaukee and Lucroy had come to an agreement, all three of them.
We went to bed on Saturday night in Cleveland thinking Jonathan Lucroy was going to be an Indian, and then on Sunday morning he said, nope, I'm not doing it. And then the Brewers moved on and hooked up with the Texas Rangers. 2-2 the count to Marcus Semien. Umpires tonight, that's Andy Fletcher calling balls and strikes. The crew chief is Joe West, followed by Kerwin Danley and Nick Lentz, and it's Joe West at first base. Semien taps one to the left side. Beltre has it, and the throw is wide, and Semien is safe. And Jurickson Profar goes down, and he's hurt.
Well, that was a collision. Marcus Semien, of course, hustling down the line. In the start that Perez made, it was Andrus making an error in the first inning, and Beltre, who usually is right on target, ball up the line a little bit, and Semien clearly looked like he didn't even hit him. So maybe something happened with Profar as he tried to make the tag. But Semien looked like he got around him, touched the bag, was safe.
Still trying to see if there was any contact. It didn't look like there was, but maybe there was a little bit.
Or maybe it's Profar who tried to make the tag. He's rotating his neck a little bit.
So it goes as an E5.
Well, Adrian Beltre is usually right on. He gets an error on this ball, but I think it's the hustle by Marcus Semien, because normally Beltre will catch and take a little bit extra time. Oh, got him with his elbow.
In the face.
Yeah, in the elbow. He did miss him. And Beltre with a throw up the line. Profar trying to come off.
So it's an error on Beltre. 74th error of the year for Texas Rangers. So they've made a lot of errors. You would not think that with the personnel they have.
Exactly.
It's been a little bit of an issue.
As I mentioned, 31 grounded double plays that Perez has induced this year. So you'd have to think that he's very comfortable. Look at the left elbow getting Profar.
Ooh.
Wow, it did it. That's a great angle to, not great for him, but great angle to see that the contact, because the other ones looked like he kind of missed him, but boy, he definitely got it with the left elbow.
0-1 to Smolinski, and that one grounded foul. So yeah, the double play comes into play with Martin Perez. It's one of his specialties. That's ground ball percentage, 4th best in the American League, and that leads to the 31 opponent double plays.
It's tied for the Rangers. C.J. Wilson, who's now with the Angels, has not pitched all year. Had that record, but Perez is good. But he can make a mistake and give up a home run. That's what happened on his last start he made against the A's here in Arlington.
When tapped, fair. Picked by Beltre. He's going to go to first. So Smolinski is retired. Nice play by Beltre. So Simeon to second with 1 out. That play was about 5 times harder than the first ball. Watch this in between hop.
Yeah, catch the short hop and then the strong throw, knowing that Simeon runs well. Smolinski does also, but better chance to get Smolinski from the batter's box, which he did. If he'd gone to second, probably would not have gotten Simeon.
So runner in scoring position with 1 out for Danny Valencia.
I want to say Eric Chavez won his 6th consecutive Gold Gloves, and it was Adrian Beltre who ended his streak of 6 consecutive.
Valencia at .291 with 14 home runs and 41 runs batted in. Valencia playing first base tonight. Had some success against Perez, 5 for 13 with a home run.
Well, on the 25th of July, last time the A's were here, it was after the error by Elvis Andrus with Josh Reddick running. The error opened the door. Valencia, 2-run home run in the first inning.
Valencia's got a couple of home runs against the Rangers this year. Inside, A's have played pretty well against Texas. They're 6-4 so far. So 3 more series to play, including this one between these 2 teams. And just a couple of weeks ago, the A's came here and took 2 out of 3. Outside, and now it's 3-1 to Valencia with Chris Davis in the on-deck circle. Rangers probably don't want to see Chris Davis come up.
So for the guys back in the studio, Chris Davis is here. He's in the on-deck circle, and yes, tremendous numbers against the Rangers. 30 home runs for him. That's impressive. He may not be. I think he's probably looking at 40 plus. Right now, sitting on 30.
And Valencia gets the walk. So 2 on and 1 out, and here comes Davis. Greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Oakland A's most home runs in a season versus the Rangers. Reggie Jackson hit 9 in 1974. Giambi 8 in 2001, and Chris Davis has 7 this year. And that's 7 home runs against the Texas Rangers. His season versus the Rangers, 7 homers, 19 RBIs, and a .419 batting average, and he's done that in 9 games. So he has missed one of the games against the Rangers.
3 home runs in the one game, including a walk-off grand slam.
First pitch to Davis is a strike, 0-1. He's homered in 3 consecutive games.
Wade LeBlanc yesterday, and a breaking ball, just a hanger. And think about him. They just keep going. And even LeBlanc had to be looking at it and said, that can't be going out. But Chris Davis changes the minds of all these pitchers whenever he hits a ball. And really, there's not a park that can hold him. It's not like he has to pull home runs or pull the ball to hit a home run. He can hit them any part of the park, as he has shown this season.
A little bit inside, 94 miles an hour, 2-1 the count. There's your home run leaders. Trumbo with 34 and Encarnacion 33. We'll see Todd Frazier this weekend. He's got 31, and then Davis.
And see Mike Napoli a week from tonight at the Coliseum. Cleveland Indians in town, but that's the 3rd stop on this 5-city trip for the Athletics. Got a good changeup, and he threw it to Simeon for the 2nd strike, and just threw a very good one on the 2-1 pitch. Chris Davis had him way out in front.
Two pitch is tapped up the 3rd baseline and foul. Davis is 5 for 7 with a homer and 2 doubles against Martin Perez in his career. So all the numbers are pointing to Chris Davis getting a hit here. And he swings and misses, and that's that good changeup.
Jonathan Lucroy, the new catcher, just throwing the fingers down, especially sees the good changeup working well for Perez. And in these situations, you can see the grip as he was throwing the changeup, pulled the string beautifully, and that's a big out. And while he did not get the ground ball to get to, it gets a strikeout. And another hot hitter comes up in Billy Butler. He would like to see Perez at least score some runs against him with the gifts they've been given, with an error and a walk in this 1st inning.
Butler at .292 with 4 home runs and 29 runs batted in. And as Ray said, a very hot hitter. In his last 12 games, Billy Butler is 19 for 42. That's a .452 batting average.
I think one of the nice things for Billy Butler, and he knows it, is getting a chance to play against righties. Been primarily playing against lefties like tonight, but he's been in there against righties, doing a good job, coming up with some big hits.
Well, I mean, the numbers are in August, and I just gave you the last 12 games, but even stretching this out for about the last month and a half, he looks like he did in Kansas City.
Yeah. Well, and you never see a lot of home runs at 0 in the home run column, but he's going to drive in runs, hit the ball from gap to gap.
Oh, in front of that one, it shoots right into the A's dugout.
And really for Billy Butler, and while he has been disappointed that he's not played every day, which he expected when he signed, but he's swinging the bat well, and Bob Melvin riding the hot hand. God say, bench coach said hit it the other direction. A couple of coaches and a manager on the top step leaning over the rail. Kotsay, I mean, that's a serious coming back, and Kotsay lost his stopwatch, protected himself. Would not expect a right-hander to pull a ball into the dugout that well.
And there's a line drive base hit left field. Here comes Simeon rounding 3rd. He's going to come in to score, and Billy Butler stays hot, and the A's have a 1-0 lead.
And you know, that pitch right there, they try to get inside, and we've seen already in this 1st inning how Lucroy's gone inside. He moves in, but Billy Butler just turns on it so quickly. He's done that since he's been so hot, and even with 2 strikes, coming up with a big 2-out hit. So the air to open it, a walk, puts Simeon at 2nd, and Billy Butler, a conversation with Big Joe West. That's got to make a special night for him, huh?
Maybe.
Or maybe not.
Maybe not.
Joe's happy with this cool weather here in Arlington. He's expecting to have it much hotter for this 3-game series.
Here's Vogt, who taps one foul. Vogt at 274 with 9 home runs, 34 runs batted in. Had 4 hits in 9 at-bats in the weekend series against the Mariners. So an unearned run here in the first.
Back-to-back starts for Martin Perez, and really not taking everything upon himself. You see the numbers against the left-handers, a much better pitcher, but you know, when you have an error made behind you, it's your job of a pitcher to try to get back in the dugout, even though the error has occurred. A rare error at that, especially from Adrian Beltre.
On a routine play.
Yeah.
So 26 pitches from Martin Perez. Doug Brocail, that's the pitching coach of the Texas Rangers. Gentleman on the right. Valencia at second, Butler at first. And Stephen Vogt chases out of the strike zone, side retired. So the A's get a run on a hit, an error, a walk, and it's 1-0 Athletics. So the Rangers will try to bounce back with this lineup. Choose the DH, then Desmond, Beltran, Beltre, Odor, Lucroy, Andrus, Profar, and DeShields.
How many innings have they been shut out?
21 consecutive.
That's Ross Detwiler, the former Ranger, a year ago pitching for the home club, wearing number 46, but now pitching for the Athletics. He's made 1 start. That was the last one against the Baltimore Orioles that he won. 8 shutout innings as the A's won the game. As they won the first 3 against the Orioles, lost the series finale on Thursday. But if you find a sinker ball that you've lost and you get ground ball outs, it's exactly what Detwiler wants to do, especially in this park and against this team.
Quick 0-2 to Shin-Soo Choo, who's DHing tonight. No runs scored in the last 21 innings for this Rangers offense. Still hard to believe. Detroit Tigers did that to him. Tigers just came in here and won 2 out of 3 from the Rangers.
Okay, we've talked about Fulmer with the Tigers, the rookie.
Michael Fulmer.
Whoa. Shot out yesterday against the very tough Rangers club here.
We saw him early.
Yes,
if I
we
remember
did.
Correctly.
Yep. And he was impressive then, but he's really gotten impressive. And evidently from Oklahoma, had about 40 people in the house watching him, and special day for him, especially to pitch against this club and shut him out.
On the ground towards second, right to Ladendorf. Throw to first is in time. 1 out. A's defense tonight has Davis, Smolinski, and Eibner in the outfield. Healy, Simeon, Ladendorf, Valencia on the infield, with Vogt doing the catching. So 1 away for Ian Desmond. The Rangers are 69-50 on the year. They have a 5.5 game lead over Seattle, 7.5 game lead over the Astros in the AL West. Very good at home, 36-20. That 69-50 record is second best in the American League. Only the Indians are just slightly better by percentage points. I don't know that the Rangers are necessarily concerned about this, but since July 1st, their record is 18-21, so they have not played quite as well the last 6 weeks. Some pitching injuries to the rotation that'll catch up with you at some point.
Well, the one guy we talked about it, and that's Colby Lewis, because he has been an A's killer. Had a no-hitter into the 8th inning in his only start against the club in Oakland, and it was a hit, I think, but he has pitched well throughout his career against the A's.
Colby Lewis, they figured to get him back sometime early September, and that would be a big boost. Derek Holland also dealing with some shoulder issues, and I think he's pitching tonight in AAA, and they're hoping maybe a couple weeks to get him back. And the 2-2 pitch, a swing and a miss by Desmond. The throw to first, 2 away.
Well, last Wednesday, the big play in the game with Detweiler on the mound in the first inning, and Adam Jones with Hardy hitting a double. He went back to tag, and this turned out to be huge because he got a late start, and I don't know if third base coach saw, but initially called safe at the plate, but overturned. Look at the foot, Cap. I know you were talking about that with the front foot lifted above the plate, and he was ruled out. And at that point, if he had been safe, that's a run in, a runner at second, and nobody out. Instead, it's an out, runner at second. Detweiler got out of it and shut out the Orioles.
Final score? 1-0.
1-0. That's right.
At that point, when they changed the call, you would have never dreamed that it was going to be a 1-0 final, but it was.
But boy, the way it turned out, I mean, that was huge, and maybe kind of a reprieve for Detweiler to get the out and get out of the inning after. Wow.
How about that? 3 pitches. Carlos Beltran strikes out, and that's a 3-up, 3-down shutdown inning for Ross Detweiler. California is brought to you by AAA. Get a free A's cap with a new AAA membership. Visit a participating AAA branch by August 30th. Restrictions apply. 1-0, the A's lead. Second inning from Globe Life Park in Arlington. For the A's, it'll be Healy, Eibner, and Ladendorf, bottom three of their lineup. A's with a record of 52-66. And that one is belted to left center field. It's hit well, and that baby's gone. Healy homers into his own bullpen. It's 2-0 A's.
Yeah, back-to-back games for Ryan Healy. As he got one yesterday, and A's hit 3, but Kipe again. Lucroy, look where he sets up. He goes inside, and I would say that Perez is not capable of getting the ball inside. He's given up 2 very hard-hit balls by trying to get fastballs in, so we may be seeing something different from Jonathan Lucroy, because if he stays in there and this continues to happen, A's are going to hammer him, and boy, did Healy crush one into the bullpen.
Here's Eibner. First pitch is a strike. 6th home run of the year for Ryan Healy.
No, I've talked about it. You've heard me talk about it. If you can't pitch in, why try?
Nope,
and if he's got a good changeup working, if you're going to call that pitch inside, it's got to be way off the plate. And so far, he's not getting them in.
Since the break, the league is hitting .355 against his fastball, and that's not good, because that's the pitch you're going to throw the most.
Exactly.
Eibner. Foul tip. I think he was caught by Lucroy, and that's a strikeout.
I mentioned yesterday the A's hit 3 home runs, a 2-run shot by Chris Davis. This one from Healy. LeBlanc gave it up, and Healy crushed it. When he makes contact, solid contact, well, the ball just takes off his bat. Unfortunately, too little, too late for the A's. Their home runs could not come up with the big hits as the Mariners did, and winning the game 8-4.
Quick 0-2 to Tyler Ladendorf.
I was just thinking, you look at the 2 lineups tonight. You have one team that we talked about trying to play in October. They've added to the roster, and with the A's, you're looking at a lot of young players getting an opportunity to play for the future.
Yep.
Good experience for young players, and you hope that with the experience they're gaining, that as they get to the point where they're playing for championships, this experience will help them down the road.
Just got a piece of it, did Ladendorf. 1-2 the count.
Bob Melvin, of course, continually wants to win. His staff, they want to win every game. Got to put out the best team, but they also know that they're thinking about some players for the future.
Changeup. Ladendorf swings and misses. Back-to-back strikeouts for Perez.
Well, you see Lucroy just put up both hands and say, throw it right here to the middle of the plate. And he did. And that's what you do with a changeup. It's more of the deception, change of speeds versus trying to hit the corner. And Lucroy basically said, put it right down the middle, and he did it perfectly.
So to the top of the order, and Marcus Semien. But the fact that in your own division, you have 3 teams fighting for the postseason, Texas, Seattle, and Houston. Well, that for the A's, you're going to be playing a lot of important games down the stretch, because you're going to have to play all 3 of those teams. But you also have series coming up. You got Cleveland, you got St. Louis, Boston. So you have very few meaningless games. Meaningless, for lack of a better phrase. No postseason. That one down the right field line, and it is fair. Bounces off the wall. Semien is going to have a sliding double. We lost track of it just for a second.
Well, plus the area down in the right field, it kind of angles out, and Marcus Semien taking the outside fastball and maybe thinking back for changeup, but see where the kind of 325 to 349.
Almost went
That
out.
close, exactly. And that's a huge difference. I want to say one of the Tigers yesterday, one of the home runs was hit, went into that area. 325 to the corner, and then juts out at an angle to 349. That's quite a difference. But if you can hit, it's almost like the pesky pole in Boston. But where?
Close. And that one's driven left center. It's going to hang up, though, for Desmond, and Desmond gets over there, and he makes the catch. So home run by Ryan Healy, his 6th of the year. So we played an inning and a half from Arlington, and the A's lead 2-0. The A's lead 2-0. It's the bottom of the second. Beltre, Odor, Lucroy. Detweiler had a very nice first inning, a couple of strikeouts.
And only 14 pitches to do it, especially to Beltran, the 3 pitches, and check swing with a call out with Joe West.
Facing Adrian Beltre, 289 for Beltre with 18 home runs and 73 runs batted in. Inside. Beltre's been a hot hitter. 16 hits in his last 33 at bats. So on the 3-1 pitch, it's outside, and Beltre has a leadoff walk.
I think we'll always continue to say that toughest 27 outs in baseball here at Fenway Park. Of course, the game at Globe Life Park, that Perez started the game the last time he started here. It was the walk-off by Adrian Beltre off Ryan Madsen. So you just never know until you're interviewing somebody on the post game. That means it's a victory.
Well, we were getting ready to interview somebody, but it just did not happen. But you're right, you're always sort of on the edge of your seat in this ballpark, a little bit like Fenway Park. We're not saying it's the ballpark, it's the lineup, but it just kind of goes hand in hand.
And They just lost a big piece named Prince Fielder, and the interesting thing, Prince Fielder was signed by the Tigers when Victor Martinez injured his knee, was out for the season, and now with Prince Fielder out at least this year and perhaps his rest of his career, they have Lucroy and Beltre to try to help them fill that gap.
Base hit right field. Beltre had to jump to get out of the way, so he'll go to second and stop. So 2 on, nobody out for the Texas Rangers.
On a curveball, this young man swings as hard as anybody, all counts, and lifted the front foot, got the hanging curveball and hammered it, with Beltre almost being hit. That would have been a nice thing to see if you could hit him for the out.
So that's the first hit for the Rangers. And here is Jonathan Lucroy. First pitch to Lucroy is just a touch high. Lucroy's had a good start for the Rangers. Yeah. He's got 6 home runs in 12 games since joining Texas. Those are his combined numbers. 19 homers, 61 RBIs, good on base, good slugging, good batting average. He's a very, very good player.
While he's a good catcher, he's an offensive catcher, and I mean that because he can swing the bat and he will put up some very good numbers. He was hitting cleanup in the Brewers lineup.
There's the 6 home runs in August. It was right at the trade deadline, August 1st, when he came over. Lucroy's is 30 years old. He's got that club option for next year, which made him even more attractive. So he'll be a Ranger next year as well.
For not a lot of money. A good team-friendly contract.
Blocked nicely by Vogt.
Very strong and held up on the breaking ball. Stephen Vogt doing his job, keeping the double play in order with the block.
Beltre at second, Odor at first. He's shaded toward right center against Lucroy, and he swings and misses, and he strikes out against Detweiler. That's the 3rd strikeout for the A's left-hander.
Pulled the string nicely, and right down the middle of the changeup, and Lucroy way out in front of an 86-mile-an-hour changeup, and it's a great pitch. See the grip again, the grip of the baseball. Of course, we see it with the center field camera. The hitters don't see it, but what a great pitch that he was able to throw. The changeup, just 9%, but that time it was a great one. Mostly fastball, 2 and 4 seam fastball with a curveball.
I'll bring up Elvis Andrus. Andrus, 4 homers and 50 RBIs. I was reading today a little bit about Elvis Andrus. He's actually a little bit dinged up. He's been playing with a groin injury for quite a while now. And it's not real serious, but he has to be a little bit careful with it. And of course, they have Jurickson Profar, who could play shortstop if needed.
Well, the big man Giancarlo Stanton had a pretty serious groin injury that he's done for the year. Was that 3rd consecutive year he's got an injury? Had an injury that
ended his season.
Yeah.
See the groin injury. I mean, you have to be careful. You can play with it, but you have to be very careful.
Yeah, I think any leg injury, groin, hamstring, knee, ankle, anything lower extremities, very difficult to play this game. Takes a little bit longer to get well.
Good pitch, 2-1 to Andrus.
The high home shot we'll show maybe in a minute, but this good fastball right on the outside corner. They must be expecting, since Detweiler being left-handed, that Elvis is going to pull the ball, because there is a huge gap on the right side. You can see there that he likes to shoot the ball that way.
Strike two, 2-2.
And a good changeup. And Fletcher said, no, it's not too high. It's not outside.
Look at the numbers against left-handed pitching. That's why it is a major challenge for Detweiler tonight. All in the top 10. Average against lefties. And now a full count. Profar is in the on-deck circle. He's a switch hitter.
Well, Stephen Vogt does not have to call a fastball. We'll see what he calls, but it's a good changeup that Detweiler throws and has thrown so far in this game. Struck out Lucroy, got a called strike on Elvis Andrus.
Outside, and he went with an off-speed pitch. Andrus laid off. Bases are loaded.
Well, if he'd thrown the ball towards the middle of the plate like he did to Lucroy, he'd have gotten it, but just a little bit outside as the ball was running away from Elvis Andrus, and he held up his swing. It's a matter of recognizing and realizing it's going to be off the plate.
So here's the switch hitting Profar. 277 overall with 5 home runs and 17 RBIs. A little bit inside. The splits for Profar, he's a 224 hitter right-handed. He's a 299 hitter left-handed. Foul straight back. He's 7 for 17 in his career with the bases loaded. Lots of speed.
Well, if Ross Detweiler has refound his sinking fastball for a ground ball, this would be a perfect time to get it. To get 2 infield playing for double play.
Tapped over the mound. Simeon has it. Shuffles to second, on to first. Double play. Nice turn by Ladendorf as he was able to get rid of it and then get the heck out of the way. So the A's get a huge double play, and the Rangers do not score. Rangers nothing. He's got an unearned run in the first, and they got a solo home run in the second by Ryan Healy. Perez threw 27 pitches in the first inning, but just 14 in the second inning. Danny Valencia leading things off. Valencia, Davis, and Butler for the A's. Swing and a miss. Valencia with a big swing.
Well, changeup seems to be Perez's best pitch, and actually Detwiler and Perez a very good changeup. And it's just a matter of Detwiler throwing it more towards the middle of the plate. A changeup will work. It's all about the deception and the velocity. Location is not so important except middle of the plate. I think something we can note the rest of the game, how many times Lucroy will call a fastball in with Perez against the right-handers, because if it is, see how far it goes off the plate. That's the curveball in the dirt.
So 2-2 the count. Perez is tied for first in the league in walks. And he's 10th in the league in hits allowed. So that's a lot of base runners. Change up, and he's going to get it out here. Beltre steps in front of Andrus, and that's the first out.
Nothing for the forward right choice. This is a big one. Detwiler gets the double play. Look at the turn, actually the strikeout, and then the double play. Watch the turn by Ladendorf. Very quick from underneath and allowed on the throw. So a strikeout, Jonathan Lucroy against his former team, and a big double play with the bases loaded. Forward right choice. That was a big one.
You know what, Ray, watching Ladendorf turn that double play, he stayed in there a little bit longer, and I'm wondering if that coming across the bag, which got him the other night.
That's right.
And he did it different this time than the other night.
Yeah, he came across on that one that they challenged, and it turned out not to be the double play. He's actually stayed
just
on the
standing
back.
in there.
Yeah.
He's not coming across.
Right. And you know, he was actually saying that he got a little messed up with the timing with Simeon yesterday, and to the point that he thought he was going to be able to keep his foot on the bag.
But what? This is different than the way he went about it the other night.
Yeah, he stays on it, but the left foot keeps it on there, and then really just lets the runner Andrus come in hard. And when you stay on the bag, it allows the runner to come in at you a little bit harder.
Well, and you know what? I mean, felt kind of bad for him the other night because he. Is it a mistake? Well, yes, it is a mistake, but you know, it's one of those. He's turning the double play like he always has, and I mean, it was very close, and the call went against the A's, but he just barely lifted up his foot off the bag before he caught it. It was very close. You could tell that time he was like, "I'm gonna keep my foot on the bag." And
Cap, you know as well as anybody, timing in the game of baseball is everything. No matter where you are. And it's a timing, and he's not played that much at second. He's played the outfield. He's played different positions. So it's a timing of the shortstop catching the ball and feeding, and the timing is getting the bag at the time. And your brother played a great second base, which was different than now because of the no contact rule pretty much. But, you know, you have to really depend on the timing. That's why the guys work on it. Work on the double play, turning that during BP and as much as they can to get the timing down. Simeon's okay because he plays every day. But with Jed Lowry on the disabled list.
Butler rips one to left field. DeShields hustling over, and DeShields makes the catch on the run. So it's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Martin Perez. Bottom of the third coming up. 2-0 A's.
Live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Bottom of the third, the A's with a 2-0 lead. First pitch to Delino DeShields Jr. is a strike. Hitting in the 9th spot. Choo to follow, and then Desmond. DeShields had 215, 3 homers and 9 RBIs. And that one bounces right over the head of Healy. Nothing he can do, and it makes it into left field for a base hit. So leadoff single, and here's our Geico quote of the game. Bob Melvin on Sonny Gray and the chance of returning to the mound this season. This is what the manager said. It just depends. I don't necessarily think it's important. It's nice to know you're healthy again and don't have to worry about it in the offseason, but it's not like we're going to push him to try to get him out there just to get him out there. Makes sense.
Well, that first statement kind of, if he can pitch before the end of the season, he doesn't have to worry about it. Look at Jesse Hahn, who missed the second half of last season, and it was not until the offseason that he found out the elbow issue that, while it had already had Tommy John surgery, it was just a kind of a muscle strain, but he didn't know that, and came into spring training, and he'd be on his rehab assignment, we hope, tomorrow, and maybe just the one, and be back in the rotation.
But I can't imagine it's, I mean, that's no fun for a pitcher if you have to go through your whole off season, do your workouts, and you start throwing, and you think it's all good, but you're still not quite sure.
Yeah, game conditions, very important.
Choo hits one high in the air, shallow right center. It'll be Smolinski who grabs it. So Choo is retired. He's 0 for 2. I think you see it sometimes in baseball. It happens with any position, but I think with pitchers maybe more. But you know, where a guy gets to spring training and then he starts doing his thing, ramping up, as they like to say, and then the arm starts to hurt.
Yeah.
And then maybe they have surgery, and you say, well, if your arm was bad, why didn't you have surgery in October, November? But it's not till you start throwing the same amount and ramping up your throwing activity when you get to spring training, and well, then it's a different deal than what you're doing in the offseason.
I think it was A.J. Griffin that same thing happened, 13 or 14, that he would have been eligible or available for the next playoff round.
Chance for another double play, and it is 6-4-3 double play. Second inning in a row the A's have turned one of those. It's 2-0 Athletics after 3. A's Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by First Five California. Talk, read, sing. It changes everything. A's with a 2-0 lead. It's the 4th inning. And a beautiful night in Arlington. Beautiful as long as the rain stays away. We've had quite a bit of rain here recently. Very hot on the East Coast from what I understand. Wow. Scary hot. Up the middle, but Andrus is right there. Flips it across. Vogt is retired.
So our friend Matt Stair is in the Phillies telecast. They were in shorts, Bermuda shorts.
Wow.
3 guys with their feet propped up. It was, I guess, extremely hot.
Yeah, it's right in that Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area, Philadelphia. Very hot.
You know, they were saying in New York, I heard, that keep the temperature for air conditioning no lower than 78, so they don't have blackouts. And I mean, 78 when it's 110 is pretty cool.
Yeah. Huh.
But that's a bad area to have a blackout in the East Coast. But a lot of heat there, a lot of rain in Louisiana. Ron Washington, A's third base coach, experienced Katrina. But he said it's the northern part of Louisiana, so he's not as affected this time. He'd been through enough.
Yeah. This is Ryan Healy in the 2nd inning, a long home run.
And Jonathan Lucroy trying to get his pitcher inside. He didn't get it there, and really the 2 hits, Butler and Healy. An RBI single with 2 outs and a solo home run. Both fastballs that just did not get in where Lucroy wanted them, and that's where a catcher has to change his mind and his idea about how he's going to call a game based on the ability of his pitcher to get the pitches where he wants them.
2-1 pitch is bounced up the middle and into center field, and that's a base hit. So Healy's got a home run and now a single.
And another fastball, another one right over the top, and you see they don't have enough information on Ryan Healy to shift him. Maybe in the future you'll see 3 to the left side, but he does hit the ball well to right center field.
So here's Eibner, who struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. And this one chopped to Andrus, who charges, gets the big hop out at second, on to first, and another double play. So this one turned by the Rangers, and we're headed to the bottom of the 4th. 2-0 A's.
On Monday, September the 5th, you can be one of 15,000 fans to take home this green and gold fleece blanket before the A's 1:05 p.m. Labor Day matinee special. That's against the Los Angeles Angels. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/tickets. Okay, it's up to you. Describe it.
That's the boomstick.
It's a boomstick.
We will always show the making of a boomstick when we do a game here in Arlington. It's part of our telecast. That's the way it is. It doesn't make us feel better or worse. If we ate it, it would make us feel worse.
I was going to say, if it makes us feel great looking at it.
And they're not done yet either. I mean, they got onions and jalapenos. There's probably more to put on there.
To find out how many of those they make and sell.
Well, I mean, listen, when you are serving a hot dog and it has to be served in a carton that has handles on it, that tells you what it's all about. That's the boomstick.
Wow, it's big enough that you can share with 3 or 4 people next to you, huh?
Or more. We had one up here about 5 years ago. Remember? Somebody brought one up, and we had like 3 bites and weren't feeling all that great. And we only ate about 4% of the boomstick. But we've seen people finish it off here. It's not a pretty sight, but there's people that order that. And
there's the handles. The guy's got one thumb wrapped around one part of the handles.
I think it's $27, they tell us, if you want a boomstick. 22 inches long. And now back to the ball.
It's a changeup.
Simeon dives, cannot quite get it. Beltran has a leadoff single here in the 4th, and now the ball gets away, and Beltran hustling for second, and he's going to make it.
But that's routine. That's a base hit past Simeon and Jake Smolinski. It's good base running by Beltran, because once he rounded first, there's the simple base hit and going over to field it. And then see him pick up, see him look to see what Beltran was doing. And when you look up, take your eye off the baseball just enough. See if you can see Smolinski as he goes after the ball. Watch his head, see if it comes up. Just enough of a peek to take your eye off the ball, and Beltran rounding and just kept going. And that's a big 90 feet. Takes away a possibility of a double play.
So for the A's, that's their 72nd error of the year. And just their 2nd in the last 9 games. Runners in scoring position, Beltre hitting .353. That does not surprise us. We've seen it enough. Had a good rip that time, and it's 1-1.
And when you have a club that's having a tough time scoring runs, you do not want to give them a chance to open a door to start feeling good about themselves. Rangers know they'll eventually break out of it, just like the Orioles did on Thursday at the Coliseum after really scoring nothing in 3 games against the A's, the first 3 of the series.
And it doesn't matter what team you are, how good you are offensively, it's going to happen.
Oh, sure.
I mean, look, I mean, the A's shut down the Orioles for the first 3 games of the series, and the Orioles lineup is as good as anybody's. And now here, the Texas Rangers, very strong lineup. They've gone 24 consecutive innings without scoring a run. It happens. Three and one now to Beltre, with Odor waiting in the on-deck circle. Beltre walked in the 2nd. And that one is inside, and it's his 2nd walk. For Detweiler, the 3rd walk he has issued. He has 3 strikeouts. Got to try to avoid the crooked number in this ballpark as well.
Right.
Odor lined to single to right field in the 2nd inning. First pitch is inside. Lucroy is in the on-deck circle.
Detweiler ideally would like to get the breaking ball away from Odor. He is very powerful, and he's not afraid to open up his swing hard. But if you leave the pitch inside part of the plate, it becomes very dangerous.
26 balls, 32 strikes for Detweiler. Had 108 pitches in that start last week against the Orioles. Line drive caught by Landorf, and he thought about flipping it to second, could not quite get his balance, but a sensational play by Tyler Landorf.
Cat, that might have gone to the wall.
It may have gone to the wall.
I mean, as hard as it was hit, look at where this ball, the directions it's hit. And Landorf timed it perfectly, and maybe landed a little bit awkwardly, but as he came down, he caught the ball and started, you're right, he started to flip it, decided against it, which is a good idea, but that ball was hit so hard. Had he not caught it, we might have had a tie game with the runner at second or maybe third. So great leaping ability by Tyler Landorf.
So one out, and here's Lucroy. Well, the double play comes into order.
Detweiler has to be thinking, I pitched for the Rangers, I pitched in this heat, but it still doesn't matter whether you pitch for the team or pitch here as a visitor. It's hot.
Yeah, 7 starts last year for the Rangers. Strike right in there.
Well, this is all about the timing. Time your jump, caught it plenty, came down. Wow, that's some hang time too. And right there started to throw, and then realized that Beltre, the runner, was not very far off the bag.
So 2-1 now to Lucroy. Struck out swinging in the second inning.
Threw him a good changeup, 2-2 to strike him out. I guess if you want the best case scenario, be a ground ball and get another double play. Huge one with the bases loaded in the second after the strikeout to Lucroy.
Line down the right field line, but it'll head into the seats.
Sometimes you see a hitter hit a fastball like that after striking out the previous at bat on a changeup. You think that 2-1, as a catcher, he might have been thinking, he's going to throw me another one. And times a catcher can get himself in trouble when he tries to hit and hit like he would call a game. That was a pretty good fastball to hit on a normal swing on 2-1.
Again, hit foul right side. Detweiler trying to get out of a jam. A huge double play in the second, another double play in the third, and boy, would he love one here. Smolinski shaded a little bit toward right center. Eibner shallow and right. On the ground. Healy's going to go to second, and Landorf digs it out. Nice play. Well, Healy had a charge and quick throw to second base.
Well, I saw earlier that Beltre decided to go to first, and Healy, who could have gone to first, instead goes to second with a low throw, and Landorf realized even with his quick release he could not turn it up a play. That is a very good play just to catch the ball. And then he threw over the top but threw it low.
So now 2 outs, runners at the corners. Here's Elvis Andrus. He walked in the second. First pitch up and away. With runners in scoring position this year, Elvis Andrus is hitting .368. That's 6th best in the American League. Missed again, 2-0.
Hung a curveball, left it outside, then overthrew a fastball down and in. Somehow avoided hitting the back leg of Elvis Andrus.
Well, you don't have to lay one in there.
No.
You do have a base open, even though it's second base, but there's a base hit right field. So the Rangers are on the board, and their scoreless inning streak comes to an end at 24 innings as Andrus gets a big 2-out RBI hit to score Carlos Beltran.
Got a high fastball away from him, and that shot to right field. We saw the opening earlier, and this is a perfect one for him to do exactly that. He's one of the best at going to right field. You cannot defend him in that area. So the leadoff walk, actually leadoff base hit that went to second on the air, but would have scored anyway with the walk to Beltre, who walked following it.
So that'll bring up Profar. Profar hit into a double play in the second inning. Breaking ball, and it's 1-1. So each team now with 4 hits. Each team has made an error. Swing and a miss.
Good pitch down with a big swing by Profar, uppercutting and opening up a little bit too much.
Detweiler just 8 pitches thrown in that third inning. And a different story here in the fourth. So 93 miles an hour, but up and in.
Maybe thinking outside, instead it's up and in.
Luke Croy at second, Andrus at first. On the ground to Marcus Semien. He'll quickly go to second, and they just got him. Very close play at second base. The A's get the out. The Rangers get a run, an Andrus RBI single. So 2-1 A's after 4. and stormwater. Keep our highways clean, protect our water, protecteverydrop.com. Now a 2-1 game, the A's leading the Rangers. Ladendorf, Simeon, Smolinski against Martin Perez.
Well, the one thing the A's have been doing, they've been scoring early, but they need to score later. Because right now it's 2 runs, 1 in the first, 1 in the second, but flirting with danger with this ball club. And it's going to be a bullpen game. Both pitchers, especially Detweiler, approaching 80 already.
So 1-2 the count to Ladendorf. Shutdown innings for Perez. 21 for 33. That's 64%. He has 4 strikeouts so far tonight, and he has 1 walk. Got a big double play to end the 4th inning. Ladendorf chops one toward the second baseman Odor. Away.
Ross and CSN California are teaming up to give 1st through 8th grade students the chance to earn 2 free tickets to a game with the A's Mathletics Workbook program, which engages students to solve baseball-related equations. For more information, visit athletics.com/mathletics. How were you at math, Kite?
Not good. Not good.
Trigonometry.
Not good.
Oh.
I did not get that at all. Have to be honest with you.
I agree.
I wish I would have been better.
Calculus, trig. Oh. I agree.
Yeah, and what? Geometry, trigonometry. For me, it went no clue. 2-1 the count to Marcus Simeon.
Well, we hope all those students with Mathletics program can improve themselves.
Yep.
When we ask them, well, we'll just keep it quiet.
3-1 now. Simeon trying to get aboard for the 3rd time. His double in the 2nd inning was right down the right field line. It banged off the wall. Beltre has it. Beltre throws across the diamond for the 2nd out.
Breaking ball on 3-1, so he didn't give in to him with a fastball. And boy, hitters at times, if they could recognize the spin of the baseball and of course look fastball, make an adjustment, but 3-1, it's a free pitch. You don't have to swing. But in the case of Perez, he made it look good enough that Marcus did swing it.
So here is Smolinski, who has grounded out and flied out.
One of the things we were talking about in Cleveland when Jonathan Lucroy nixed the deal from the Brewers to Cleveland was a catcher. Your job as a catcher is to handle pitching staff, and Lucroy coming to the Rangers learning a new pitching staff.
In the middle of a pennant race.
Exactly.
So a 3-up, 3-down inning for Martin Perez. It's a 2-1 A's lead. Athletics live on CSNCalifornia.com. Log on each week as our A's insider Joe Stiglitz talks baseball with players, coaches, special guests, and more. This week, Joe's guest is Ryan Healy. The A's Insider Podcast with Joe Stiglitz. It's on CSNCalifornia.com, and it's sponsored by Max Muscle Sports Nutrition. Delino DeShields goes after the first pitch and hits one very high down the left field line. And Chris Davis makes the play, 1 out. "29 pitches last inning for Detweiler, so he would love to have a quick inning.
Yeah, I think he'd love to go back to the first inning when he had a 1-2-3. Other than that, he's been on the stretch the next 3 innings. Did get a big double play, actually 2 double plays in the second and the third.
Leadoff man, Shin-Soo Choo. First pitch to Choo is a strike. Rangers just keeping their fingers crossed that Choo can stay healthy the rest of the year. He's been on the disabled list 3 times. And he's a very good offensive player when healthy. Gets on base a lot, and with the middle of their lineup, you get a guy who can get on base in front of them, make a huge difference. He's had a right calf strain, a hamstring strain, and a back situation. And as I say that, he gets hit. He's holding his left hand or wrist. Oh boy.
Stephen Vogt set up inside for the fastball, and Choo opened up and turned and got him underneath on the
left wrist, maybe.
Yeah, I see the thumb guard on his left thumb, and then came up underneath, got him on the outside of the wrist. Detweiler, you see the look on his face. And 0-2, and then that happens. So he said left calf. They're going to add the left wrist.
Yeah.
Opened up, fastball coming right at him, and as he opened up, instead of turning away, he turned into it. And that's why you see hitters who can start their swing and then turn their back towards the pitcher and avoid a hit like that. And have to hope he's okay. They're holding the left wrist, and he's applying a lot of pressure to it, maybe trying to relieve some of the pain. Right underneath, got him on the hand. Actually, there's a bone on the outside of the wrist, right above, actually in the wrist area.
And he's going to come out. So a very scary moment here for the Rangers. They do not want to lose Choo again. Choo is the designated hitter.
Steve Buechele, that former third baseman, is bench coach for Jeff Bannister.
I think he said Mazzara. And there he is. So Omar Mazzara will pinch run and then stay in as the DH. Let's hope Choo is okay,
yeah,
but that was a little scary. He was not moving that right wrist or arm at all.
On the outside of the hand, you have that little soft tissue, but on the right in the wrist area, there's a bone. It's right in that area. Talk about the back of the hand. So many small bones, but there's a big one on the outside of the wrist.
So Mazzara, the runner at first with 1 out. Here's Ian Desmond. Desmond taps it foul toward the far end of the A's dugout. Desmond has struck out and hit into a 6-4-3 double play. Desmond at one time this year got his average all the way up to 319. He's had a little 3-week stretch where he has not hit a lot, so the average coming into tonight down to 289.
Got him a trip to San Diego, the All-Star game.
Yep. Rangers got a pretty good deal here, just a 1-year contract for $8 million for Ian Desmond. And he hits one high and foul, headed for the upper deck. We've seen Desmond's terrific opposite field power this year.
Too much of it. 2 home runs to right field, as a matter of fact. One at the Coliseum and a big one here.
And he's got 4 home runs against the A's this year.
And Detweiler throws the curveball outside corner, trying to backdoor to the right-handers. He's leaving it out. He's not breaking sharply enough for the hitters to even swing at.
Mazara has a very short lead at first.
Change up, see if it works.
Mazara runs and the ball's drilled towards center field. Smolinski will play it on a hop. Mazara had to make sure it fell, so he gets to second and stops there. 2 on, 1 out, and now the big hitters come up.
And did throw the change up in the middle and hit it a little bit towards the end of the bat. Desmond, long stride, kept the bat back enough to be able to drive it to center. Maybe by hitting it off the end of the bat helped him for the ball to drop in front of Smolinski.
So Carlos Beltran steps up. .83 pitches now for Detweiler, including the 29 number in the 4th. Beltran struck out, singled, and scored a run. First pitch is inside.
Carlos Beltran might be a little bit older, but his postseason experience and stretch drive percentage has been tremendous. Just think about the Houston Astros when he left the Royals.
Strike on the inside corner.
Just knows how to hit. Switch hitter.
Sure does. 416 career home runs for Carlos Beltran. Trying to think, Ray, in his career. Take a look at the block by Stephen Vogt.
Another curveball in this one. Again, perfectly executed by Stephen Vogt. Moved in front of it. Let it hit softly off his chest protector. Get rid of the mask.
So 2 on 1. And he took it. And was right there for a strike. 2 and 2. Home run switch hitters all time. Beltran is 4th. Behind Mantle, Murray, Chipper Jones. And there's a shot to left, and it's a base hit. Mazzaro's going to be held as the throw is way offline. Healy tracks it down. So now the bases are loaded for Beltre.
He just knows how to hit. It's amazing. He might be the best addition to this ball club. Takes a couple of fastballs down the middle. Almost like he was looking for something else, and he got what he's looking for, 2 and 2. And fortunately for the A's, it was hit hard enough right to Chris Davis.
Now, what I was saying, Ray, I don't think he's ever won a World Series.
No, I was thinking the same thing.
Think of it, the teams he was with. Beltre takes a little bit low, I guess. Looked like a pretty good pitch.
Yes, it did. So good. If he hit the ball, it might have been a double play.
Beltre has walked twice. And that one close, but a little bit inside. Now it's 2-0. So Hendricks starts to throw. Good pitch on 2-0. Boy, how about that one? Change up on the outside corner on 2-0 with the bases loaded.
Well, there are times you throw a pitch you want to get a swing. A pitch like that, you want him to swing, but he took it, and of course, looking for something other than changeup.
And that one is hit to left field, and that's going to be a grand slam. So Beltre kills the A's again. This time it's his 10th career grand slam, and I would say that was a no-doubter.
Well, you know, I just said sometimes you want him to swing. He had a 2-0 changeup. He got a 91-mile-an-hour fastball and sent it to the distance. And that's what you're afraid of with him. You're hoping for a ground ball. You don't want to see it airborne. It got airborne, and it was gone. So evidently, although tonight the ground ball has worked, he's got a couple of ground ball double plays, but that one, if Beltre had swung at the 2-0 changeup, he might have gotten a ground ball. Instead, he took it, got a better pitch on 2-1, crushed it.
Hit hard by Odor, but Valencia has it, and that's the second out.
See the look in Bob Melvin's face. And Adrian Beltre with 27 home runs from 2010.
Yeah, that's since 2010. Yeah. He's got 36 all told.
But the look on Bob Melvin's face is one of those, can I minimize the damage till I go to the bullpen?
Yep.
And he didn't. He got the one pitch that he didn't want, turned out to be the slam. If it had been a base hit or a sacrifice fly, who knows, you know, but instead, he may be that close to having Liam Hendricks come in. He's been so good for the Athletics getting out of tough jams. Now they're trailing by 3.
What you think too, Ray? That at bat, talking about not swinging at the 2-0 changeup. That's where a veteran hitter is so nice to have compared to a young hitter who may have been a little anxious there. You got a chance to give your team the lead. You swing at that 2-0 pitch.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you know, you go back to Marcus Semien on 3-1 from Perez, threw him a slider on 3-1, and he swung it.
Yep.
Gets a ground ball. But here's the changeup, and he swings. He rolls over. It's a ground ball. Instead, he takes it, and then the next pitch is a 91 heater. And no doubt.
The Lucroy gets the walk. Well, Bob Melvin coming out. That's the 4th walk by Detweiler.
And I think he's pointing for Hendricks.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
A's baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Toyota. Hurry in for Toyota's annual clearance event to get an incredible deal on the 2016 Toyota you want before they're gone. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
So Detweiler was rolling along, but fourth inning caught up with him a little bit, and then here in the fifth, Adrian Beltre with a grand slam. So 7 hits, 5 runs of Detweiler, and the runner at first, Lucroy, is his responsibility.
And you can understand why he looked the way he did after hitting Choo with 2 strikes. He got the first out, the Shields on a first pitch. His name Hendricks, who's pitched outstanding baseball for the Athletics and somewhat of a Houdini, getting out of some real tough jams tonight, just trying to keep it right now behind 3. But Detweiler hit Choo with 2 strikes, then that opened up single home run. And for Detweiler, looking on from the bench.
But I think too, Ray, a tough spot for the manager here, because Hendricks has been really good, and he's been pitching a lot of games now where the A's have the lead. Yeah. So he has him ready if maybe the game's tied, exactly, and he wants to get out of the inning. But now it turns out he's oiled up and he's ready to go, and you got to get Detweiler out of there. So now you have Hendricks in the game when you're down 5-2, and there's really not a lot you can do about it, because you can't really plan for a grand slam to be hit off your pitcher.
You're hoping, you know, the old 3-run and the grand slam. The 3-run home run you don't want. The grand slam you definitely don't want.
So the inning is over, but Beltre hurts the A's again. A grand slam. 10th time he has hit a grand slam in his career. It's now 5-2 Rangers.
Memberships are on sale right now. Whether you want to renew your membership or join the party, visit athletics.com/2017. You'll find all the benefits that A's membership has to offer, including early bird incentives, exclusive experiences, half-price parking, flexible ticket exchange program, and more. You can even lock in your 2017 seating location right now. Visit athletics.com/2017 and join the party today.
He's now trailing 5-2. It's the 6th inning. Martin Perez for the first time pitching with a lead. Valencia, Davis, and Butler. Valencia's walked and hit a fly ball to right field.
Perez in his last 3 innings, 7 ground ball outs, 3 in each of the last 2.
Base hit right field.
If you look at his 3 starts this year, 13, 10, and 11 in ground balls. So there's your ground ball percentage and double plays. The A's taking advantage of this high fastball away. Danny Valencia doing what he's been doing very well lately. That's going opposite field. A pitch that maybe off the plate, but elevated fastball. And he goes perfectly to the opposite field. It's good hitting. That's what you want to see instead of trying to pull that pitch into a ground ball or a pop-up.
So here's Chris Davis. So we mentioned those 31 grounded into double plays induced by Perez. In the Rangers notes, it says that's the most by any one pitcher in one season since 1969. Gaylord Perry induced 47 double plays for the 1973 Cleveland Indians. 47. My goodness. Good sinker. Good two-seamer. Your old friend with a good two-seamer.
Gaylord had 690 starts. 303. Not 30, but 303 complete games. That's impressive. 300+ wins. Hall of Famer.
Well, good luck getting him out of the game.
That's right. As strong as he was, you're going to have to lift him off to get him out because he won't walk off.
Davis pops this one out of play, straight back. So the count is even at 2-2 to Davis, who has struck out and grounded to second.
Jonathan Lucroy looked like he might have been wanting help from his dugout because the ball went straight up. I don't know that he saw it.
Foul tip hung on by Lucroy, and Davis strikes out for the second time.
Stay with the fastball, did not go soft with him, and a little foul tip into the catcher's mitt.
So 1 out, strikeout number 5 for Perez. Billy Butler had an RBI single in the first inning to give the A's an early 1-0 lead. He hit a fly ball to left field in the third. Good first pitch, breaking ball strike to Butler. Kind of a light schedule today around Major League Baseball. There was a day game today in Cleveland. The Red Sox beat the Indians 3-2.
That was a makeup from an earlier rainout.
That's right. A couple of playoff hopefuls.
It's one of those that you get two. Well, Cleveland in first place, the Red Sox trailing, but a game that has to be played.
Yep.
Pick a mutual off day. Good changeup, and Billy out in front, so curveball changeup. And I hate to say it, but since early in the game, Jonathan Lucroy has gone inside the fastball very infrequently. Matter of fact, I can't remember seeing another one. Off speed, staying away with the fastball. There's a fastball.
Ingers has it to Odor. Double play. 6-4-3 double play. That's the second double play turn by the Texas Rangers. Bottom of the 6th coming up. 1993, that guy right there, Nolan Ryan, picks up career win number 324, the last victory of his 27-year career as the Rangers beat the Cleveland Indians 6-4. He was 46 years old at the time. He would go on to lose his next 4 games, so that was his final win in his career. Finished with 5,714 strikeouts and 7 no-hitters.
I think the strikeouts, that would be hard to match that.
Yep.
So number 5,000 here when Ricky was the 5,000th strikeout victim. And we all at one time struck out.
He got everybody?
Exactly.
If you played in the 70s, he got you. And the 80s, probably. 1-0 to Profar. Liam Hendricks stays out there. Good pitch there, 1-1.
Remember Bobby Valentine had a restaurant here, and he had a baseball card of every player that Ryan had struck out in his career. Every baseball. It's on a wall. It's a huge wall.
I was going to say it must have been a big wall.
Oh, it's a huge wall. And only one for multiple strikeouts. So in case of yours truly, I don't know how many times I struck out against him, but there was just one card. But it was kind of an honor that you're up there, you know.
Sure.
That you're one of the victims. He also hit me one time, which thank God he hit me flush instead of in a bone. Because I don't think I would have had a shin if it hit flush.
Well, you only struck out 4 times against Nolan Ryan in 33 plate appearances. That's pretty good.
How'd you know that?
How did I know that?
Yeah.
I know your career like the back of my hand, Ray.
But you know your brother's better.
I do. I do.
You should.
That's right. We had a double and a triple off him, too. So you legged out a triple.
Well, all I know is that you said a little prayer. Just don't let him hit me. And I'll worry about the guy tomorrow, because I always thought that anybody who threw and grunted at the same time is scared you to death before the ball got to you.
Well, in our house growing up, all the pitchers that my brother hit home runs off of, we put up posters in our basement, but
it was only one,
the
right?
wall wasn't covered very far. But
and we're going to see
Steve Stone was up there.
We're going to see him this weekend in
Sure.
Chicago.
Sure.
We'll bring up that to
Throw
Stoney.
that out. He loves that. Stoney.
Cy Young Award winner.
Good pitch there by Hendricks. Moving fastball, and Profar strikes out.
Well, from the Mets to the Angels, what a trade that was. But the Express, I mean, he could do it. Pitch that was a no-hitter in Oakland that he pitched, with Willie Randolph flying out to right field. 7 no-hitters, 7 different catchers. So he spread it around. Mike Stanley, one of them there, former Athletic. There's the 5,000 strikeout. Ricky Henderson.
He was a bad man.
Oh. Doug Jennings, I'll never forget it. I've said it, but I'll never forget it. Right here. Jennings came up September, and one thing you never did is ask the umpire to check the ball or bunt on it. And the ball hit the dirt, and I'm yelling, don't check it, don't check it. And he asked the umpire to check it and got the bow tie.
Did he? Mitch Moreland is the pinch hitter, and Moreland lines one to center, and Smolinski makes a very nice play. So that was Moreland hitting for DeShields.
Well, he is Babe Moreland against the A's. We've talked about that, and goes on the first pitch. Nice play by Smolinski. Ball knuckling a little bit as he got to it with a nice headlong dive. Jake, who looked up, peeked a little bit earlier on a Beltran base hit. This one a nice running, diving catch to Rob Borna.
Well, here's Nomar Mazara, who is hitting for the first time. He pinch ran for Shin-Soo Choo. And Ray, we just got a note, and it's not good news.
They evaluated?
Fractured left forearm for Choo, and
forearm?
Obviously on the disabled list. So that's a shame.
That's too bad.
That's too bad. This is what happened. It was an inside pitch, and it hits him right there. So it's the lower part.
Yeah, it's closer to the wrist.
Closer to the wrist, yeah.
Wow. too bad.
Mazzaro's going to roll him into right field for a base hit. So again, a fractured left wrist for Shin-Soo Choo, and wow, feel kind of bad for him. That's his 4th time on the disabled list, and
well,
that, I mean, you're not going to be able to play again.
Well, a bone typically takes 6 weeks to heal, and after that, there's no chance for rehab because 1st of September, minor league clubs are finished, and then if they make postseason, then he would have to come back basically without any playing time. So I mean, and of course you have the non-waiver or the waiver trade deadline to make a player eligible for postseason, which has to be done prior to September 1st. So the Rangers might be back in the market looking for somebody to fill in. They've already made some very good trades to get to this point.
And the thing with Choo, I mean, this year he hasn't played a lot already.
That's right.
He's only played in 45 games. And we're not saying they won't miss him. I mean, he's a good player, but they've been able to have success without him quite a bit this year, and they're going to have to play without him now, looks like, the rest of the year. He was not moving that wrist, and that was sort of the scary part. He was holding it, kind of supporting it. 1-1 to Ian Desmond.
But we've seen players who early in their careers have an abundance of injuries and then settle down and finish up great careers. Think of Walt Weiss, who's now managed the Rockies. He was injured several times in the early years with the A's, but after a while just went on to have a very good career without any injuries.
Up the middle, and Ladendorf with the throw to first, and Valencia has to jump up to get it. So it'll be a hit for Desmond. Ladendorf got to it and was not going to have much of a chance of a play on Desmond.
Well, good speed there, and the fact that Semien and Ladendorf going, no chance for a force at second. They weren't going to get the run of Mazara anyway. Ladendorf, I don't know there's any play that he doesn't think he has a chance to throw out a runner at first base. Tremendously strong arm, especially throwing from underneath the way he does.
So here's Carlos Beltran, who is 2 for 3, 2 singles, 2 runs scored. 2 hits coming after he struck out in the first inning. This is his first at bat, hitting from the left side. He popped it up. Healy coming over. He's going to have room. He's got it side retired. So a couple of hits and a couple of runners left, and we're on to the 7th. It's 5-2 Rangers.
Celebrate the 18th annual Breast Cancer Awareness Day. It's presented by Zevia, the zero-calorie soda, and supported in part by Athena Bottled Water, Sutter Health, Nelson Staffing, Comerica Bank, State Roofing Systems, Drake's Brewing, and BDA. Prior to the game, 10,000 fans will receive breast cancer awareness wristbands courtesy of Zevia. To join the flight, purchase your special tickets now at athletics.com/survivor.
So top of the 7th inning, the Rangers leading the A's 5-2. Stephen Vogt steps in. Martin Perez, after a rough first inning, has settled in nicely. And he has kind of been rolling along. A couple of double play ground balls, which are big for him. Vogt hits one toward right. Beltran, a couple steps to his right. He's got it.
Just thinking with Choo going on the disabled list with the fractured forearm, that Carlos Beltran, who can't play right field as he is tonight. Mazzara. There are some changes as we look at the defensive. Moreland goes to first, directs some profile to left field, but Beltran could be the DH. They could put Mazzara in the outfield on a regular basis and get the 40-year-old off his feet a little bit, although he's been an accomplished right fielder. If you play right field at Yankee Stadium, you play anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, the Rangers haven't. I mean, yeah, they have enough. Moreland is going to play against right-handed pitching. Healy rolls over on that one. Mazzara is going to play against right-handed pitching, and if that's the case, then you DH Beltran and you're fine.
Yeah. Well, they got an everyday catcher in Jonathan Lucroy, although what he's going to do offensively is going to help them, but he's also a very good catcher, and he's doing something he's wanted to do. That's play on a winning team. It's nice to hear that players, although he has a team-friendly contract, but that players ultimately want the ring. They want to win, and money, it's great, time, the service time, but well, the whole idea of playing in October and the chance of getting a world championship ring is something that really every player wants.
Lucroy is from the South, is he not?
Yeah. Look at the added padding
in Florida.
Notice the mask is padding. He's got a lot of extra padding on his chin. Never seen that much padding, but it seems to be something that catchers are trying to get as much as possible.
Why not?
Absolutely. But I've not seen one that distinctive that you can see along the chin and the side of the face. But that's the thick padding. That's get as much as you can. You're right.
And there's that changeup, and it's a good one. 6 strikeouts from Martin Perez.
Healy a little bit upset, but a good changeup, and again pitch out of the strike zone. But Lucroy calling the pitch and target in the middle of the plate. That's what you do with the changeup. You throw it to the outside corner, it floats off the plate and enables the hitter to take the pitch like Elvis Andrus did a little bit earlier. Throw it in the middle of the plate. It looks like a fastball, and unfortunately too many hitters will swing at it.
Here's Eidner. Odor to Moreland, and another good inning for Martin Perez. We've reached the 7th inning stretch. It's 5-2 Rangers.
Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Know It All with Sportsnet Central. It's brought to you by Hyundai, and it's coming up tonight at 10:30 on CSN Bay Area. Highlights from our A's Rangers game. Chip Kelly breaks down the 49ers quarterback situation, and Jack Del Rio talks about the Raiders' first preseason game. Kelly Johnson, Henry Wolford will host. See where the Raiders play this week? Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Thursday night. Yep.
Thursday night.
So a treat for all the Oakland Raiders to get to play in football mecca.
So you're going to be finding a place in Chicago to be watching.
Keep it up. Why not?
Or are you going to head up to Green Bay to watch it?
That was a thought too.
I bet it was. I just thought about that.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. So John Axford comes in here in the bottom of the 7th. And here's the villain tonight for the A's. It's Adrian Beltre. He's walked twice and hit a grand slam. And it's 1-1.
About a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Try to get it in. Boy, that's been the theme tonight, is it? Isn't it? Trying to get the fastball in. You don't get it in, and a hitter with the power that Beltre has crushes it.
Grounds this one to Healy. Healy throws in time, so Beltre is retired there. Beltre has always been hard on the Athletics. This year, 4 homers, 11 RBIs in 8 games. But in his career, a 288 batting average, 36 home runs, 125 RBIs. He started his career with the Dodgers at a very young age. Mariners, Red Sox. He's a Hall of Famer in my book.
Yeah. Well, you talk about Desmond signing a 1-year contract, and mentioned before that Adrian Beltre, after Seattle, not so great 5 years, 1 year with Boston, and since then he's been with the Rangers, and they very wisely extended him, picked up his option, and then extended beyond. So they want to keep him just as much for what he means to them in the dugout, the clubhouse, and to this young man who throws about 98, Matt Bush.
Yeah, don't you think with Beltre, I mean, there's some intangibles there that are certainly not anywhere near the stat sheet.
And I would have to say that every one of these players look up to Adrian Beltre.
And I mean, and if you look at their roster, right, it's a roster that has a lot of Latin players.
Yes, it does, yeah.
And if that is the case, I think it's important to have a strong Latin leader in your clubhouse, and Beltre certainly is that.
They are young Latinos too, and that's of course Carlos Beltran right now. Great effort by Ladendorf to his right. But in the case of Odor, Profar, Elvis Andrus on the left side, while he is still young, he's been around a long time. Of course, Mazzara, the youngster. I mean, I would think every one of them would gravitate to the leader. That's Adrian Beltre. Plus, I mean, what he does on the field is a leader by example, but can also be a big leader verbally. And very good move by John Daniels and the Rangers to extend his contract.
Jonathan Lucroy been on base a couple times tonight. Fielder's choice and a walk. But I mean, you see Odor at first. There's an example. He's a young player, and he's very brash, and he plays. He's got a lot of attitude, and he's a terrific young player. I would imagine there's times when Adrian Beltre has a chat with him.
Yes. Says key down a little bit.
Sure.
Keep the aggressiveness, but I think what he did with Jose Bautista and got suspended for 7 games. John Daniels, the general manager, and the shirt, I guess, the pinkish type color in the back row.
Is that Michael Young?
Michael Young in front, just inducted into the Rangers Hall of Fame. That's right.
Part of the front office now, right? Of
Yes,
the
he is, yeah.
Texas Rangers.
But Rodriguez works on the TV pre and post.
Rangers all-time hit leader, 2,230. Michael Young.
Got a nice seat to watch baseball.
Yes, he does. Lasting thought of Michael Young will always be like a line drive to right center field.
And not only to right center field, but it happened to be an all-star game that gave the American League the home field advantage. Game winner. One of the first of the games that were meaningful for the all-star game for home field advantage. But you're right, he was a great opposite field hitter.
3-2 now to Lucroy.
Former teammates. John Axford, Jonathan Lucroy, Milwaukee. Of course, John Axford had 42 saves with the Brewers one year.
Odor with a good lead. He may take off, and he does. And the ball's fouled back.
You know, at the beginning of the season, we saw John Axford with a mustache, and that's evolved into his full beard. And he is a big supporter of prostate cancer awareness. And in November, they call it Movember. And people grow mustaches in support of prostate cancer awareness. And John Axford actually wears a T-shirt. He says, you can buy these if you want to support. But he's a big supporter of that. And the beard just gets bigger and bigger. And who knows, next spring, it may shave it off. Or maybe even after November. Cut fastball is a good pitch for him, especially in this situation. A pitch that I'm sure Jonathan Lucroy knows he has.
Odor runs, and the pitch is low. So Lucroy without a hit tonight, but he's been on base 3 times. And the Rangers have a chance to extend their 5-2 lead. These pitchers now have walked 5 in this game. Martin Perez, the Rangers starter, on the other hand, has walked just 1.
What was it, Kipe, in the Orioles series? The A starter did not walk a batter.
Made a difference, too.
Yes, it did.
Detweiler walked 4 tonight. None of them scored. The hit batter did score in that. Well, the hit batter hurt the A's, and it hurt the Rangers, too. Choo with a broken forearm.
You look at the Beltran base hit, but then the walk to Beltre, and that set up the RBI single by Andrus. So while they may not score, sometimes they move runners up and help situations where the runs can be scored.
First pitch to Andrus, or second pitch to Andrus, is a strike. So 1-1 the count. Walk, RBI single, and a ground out for the Rangers shortstop. Just looking at this shot rate, you see Ladendorf trying to keep Odor close. That has to be distracting to a hitter. If anything going on around second base, it has to be distracting.
Yeah, that's a good point. Of course, hitters don't want runners to fake like they're going to steal.
Simeon has it out at second, and that's another double play for the Athletics. So they've turned 3 double plays tonight, and we're headed to the 8th. 5-2 Texas.
Jose Canseco's historic 1986 season with a Jose Canseco Rookie of the Year bobblehead. It's presented by Kelly Moore Paints. At the A's versus Red Sox game Saturday, September the 3rd, 15,000 fans take home this Bash Brothers bobblehead featuring one of the greatest sluggers in franchise history. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/tickets. Jose Canseco.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Matt Bush comes in, the hard-throwing right-hander, having a nice season. 5-2 with a 2.97 ERA. Struggling a little bit lately. He's allowed 6 earned runs in his last 7 appearances. That covers 8 innings of work. So the ERA, which not long ago was right around 2, now it's up to 2.97.
Well, last time the A's saw him is Keller, Texas. Max Muncy hits, but A's saw him on the 27th of July, and this is the line for the young man who started tonight, Martin Perez.
He was good.
Yes, he was, especially after giving up the run in the second inning on a home run. And really, I think he could be very thankful to his catcher. Jonathan Lucroy did not go back inside with a fastball after he had hit the home run and Billy Butler hit the single. But Matt Bush on the 27th had a blown save and a loss. 4 hits, 4 runs, couple of home runs. So while he was throwing it hard, his location wasn't that great that night.
So 0-2 the count to Muncy. Tyler Ladendorf, while he was in there, struck out and grounded out. Simeon to follow, and then Smolinski, top of the 8th. And he needs some action here offensively. Good swing by Muncy. They've been really pretty quiet since the second inning. And he's with just 5 hits.
Now,
2 in the last 5 innings.
Matt Bush throws all 4 pitches. However, when you throw the fastball 95 to 98, that's why it's a large percentage of those pitches, including that curveball, which is rare. It's kind of like a Ronald Chapman throwing 105 and he throws a slider. Orioles have a couple of guys in the back end of their bullpen, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Seattle also, so guys are doing the job in the bullpen.
Well, the greatest baseball question right now is, how did Archimedes Caminero get through waivers and get to the Seattle Mariners for a player to be named later? I've talked to like 7 people and nobody knows how that happened.
I agree.
There's got to be something going on.
I believe me.
First of all, how do you trade him if you're the Pittsburgh Pirates? Secondly, it was a waiver deal, so that means he got through. Well, whoever has a worse record than the Mariners, which is probably 2/3 of the teams, they all passed on him. We got to find out. Who do we know from Seattle Mariners?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I've heard years back where they say, well, you know, you let this guy pass through and we'll help you out in the future if you have somebody you're trying to sneak through. But you're right. This guy throws 100 miles an hour. And if he had bad control with Pittsburgh, he definitely didn't have his over the weekend against with Seattle.
He was throwing 100 at the knees.
Well, Max Muncy trying to do something special here to start the 8th inning. 10th pitch coming up. 1 curveball that missed. Now fouling off a bunch of fastballs after starting 0-2.
Another foul ball, so good battle here between Bush and Muncy.
Okay, I think after the 1 curveball that Lucroy called that was a ball, you'd have to think he's 95 plus. 3-2, he's not going to take a chance with a curveball. You would not think. And I guess the old saying is if he throws it close enough, he might get a swing and miss. But you'd almost have to say he's going to be seeing steadied out of fastballs. Breaking ball.
And he got him swinging. 94 miles an hour, and it was a breaking ball.
So he
or
went.
maybe a cutter or something.
He's got a slider that he throws very infrequently, but it was something other than a fastball. You see the spin, but you have to gear for the fastball. And Max Muncy, a great at bat, but on the 11th pitch, got a wrinkle and got the strikeout.
That's the left-hander Diekman. Simeon bends back out of the way, takes a strike. That's a swing, says Joe West.
A hard slider. You commit, you gear up for a 95, 96, and slider in the dirt, but Marcus started and could not hold up his swing enough.
Oh, 0-2 the count to Simeon. High fastball struck him out, 98 miles an hour.
Well, as a fastball got him, but it's the two pitches before the curveball and the slider in the dirt that enabled Bush to throw the 97, 98 fastball by.
Two away for Smolinski. A little bit inside, 98 again. Hitless night for Smolinski. He now is 1 for his last 15. It's like Jonathan Lucroy gives good target rate. Nice low.
Yeah.
He doesn't go down on the knee like Vogt does, but he looks like he's able to get down pretty low.
Now those who get down on the one knee versus in the case of Lucroy, who gets a low target because he's very limber. And again, nothing against Stephen Vogt. Stephen just feels that he is better when he gets down on the one knee. Lucroy has that little bit added step because he's playing on a winner. That will do it. There's a low target, which umpires really like. So he's got his hand on the outside of his left shin guard, which enables him to use his glove and his glove hand to catch any pitch.
Popped up middle of the diamond. Lucroy gets out of the way as Beltre comes down the line and makes the catch. Side retired. So Bush has a 3-up, 3-down inning, and we are headed to the bottom of the 8th. Rangers with a 3-run lead. Tonight's game summary is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 2-5-0 or 2-5-1 for the A's. 5-10-1 for the Rangers. The big hit in the game, Adrian Beltre, a grand slam. And that happened in the 5th inning. And that is the difference. Martin Perez settled in after a little bit of a rough start. Ross Duttweiler started out well, but then got himself in trouble in the 4th and 5th innings. And that's when the Rangers did their damage. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. 4th pitcher of the night for the A's, and it's Mark Sepczynski. 54th appearance. He's 1-0. Good ERA of 3.15. It's been Detweiler, 4 2/3. Hendricks an inning and a third. Axford an inning, and now Sepczynski. Max Muncy, after pinch hitting, stays in the game. And here's Profar. Profar, Moreland, Mazzara. Profar's hitless tonight. This crowd, 22,845. I meant to say nice weather for the crowd is what I meant to say. It's a little bit smaller than normal for the Rangers, but it's a very, very comfortable night.
Well, I'm surprised to learn, Cap, we always talk about football and Metroplex and how it affects baseball. And I thought maybe with the Rangers leading the division and playing well, but I was told that football is that big that whenever it starts, it's still going
to affect it.
Yeah, it's going to affect the Rangers and their attendance. But that will change if they continue to play well down the stretch and get into postseason. But football is huge in this area.
So 2-2 the count to Profile. Big bouncer, and it's just foul. I think, you know, obviously the Cowboys are big, but there's so many colleges in Texas.
Yeah,
and then the high school is really what sort of sends it over the top.
Well, they have the Arlington Cowboys back here, right? So it's
that's right. See, they're getting ready. AT&T Stadium right next door.
It's not a spaceship. That's an actual football stadium.
Yes, it is. Looks like a spaceship, especially at night.
What's that hold? 100,000 plus?
Something like that. Wow. You can see it from a long ways away. 3-2 now to Profile.
Anytime you go above ground with that size of a stadium, it's going to be visible.
Yeah, that's true.
It's going to be visible a long way.
Yeah, especially, I mean, in this part of the country where it's flat.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can see it.
I think also Chase Field in Phoenix, that's up all above ground, and that's a monster. Looks like a big airplane hangar. They want a new one too, just like here.
Yep. I want a new one.
Now, this is a beautiful stadium that they say by 2020 may be obsolete, and they may be in a new retractable dome stadium. Hard to believe, but
I guess their definition of obsolete is different than our definition.
And since this opened, what, 93?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a beautiful stadium. Center field, you see those offices? That was a state of the art in center field when they had the offices. There, the center field. That was a center field shot we had, but those are the offices that I'm sure people sit there, watch the games, and conduct business.
Hit toward right field. Eibner is there, and he grabs it. So that's out number 1 here in the bottom of the 8th. Make sure you join us tomorrow to be game 2 of this 3-game series. Andrew Triggs and Lucas Harrell. Lucas Harrell acquired not long ago by the Texas Rangers. Coverage begins at 4:30 with A's pregame live. Complete A's coverage every night on Sportsnet Central and CSNCalifornia.com. The home of A's baseball is CSN. So Triggs and Harrell coming up tomorrow, game 2 of the series. 3 night games here in Texas. Mitch Moreland swings at a slider and misses. Moreland pinch hit. It was in the 6th inning. He hit a line drive that Smolinski made a nice diving catch on. Moreland will be in the starting lineup tomorrow with Triggs, the right-hander, going.
Biggest question tomorrow with Andrew Triggs, how far can he go?
Yeah.
2 starts this year. First 3 he has been outstanding. 4th inning, gave up a home run to Trout in Oakland. That was his first start, and his last start not so great in the 4th inning. We mentioned Jesse Hahn is going out on a rehab assignment tomorrow, and even though the A's have an off day Thursday, depending what they can do, and Triggs has done such a great job filling in, but the old saying about the pitch count being built up, how far can you go in the game with regard to pitch count, especially as a reliever?
Yu Darvish and Sean Manaea will pitch on Wednesday. That's Sam Dyson. He's the closer for the Rangers. Their slider misses. So full count to Moreland. Mazara waits. A's will have Valencia, Davis, and Butler in the top of the 9th inning. Another slider, and Moreland cues it foul.
The A's bullpen has done a good job keeping it at the 5-2, giving the club a chance to come back. They've done nothing since the 2nd inning offensively. They try to do it against Dyson if indeed he does come in for the 9th.
Well, Moreland has pretty good at bat, and he ends up getting the walk. That's the 6th walk issued by these pitchers tonight. Mariners and the Angels would open up a 4-game series tonight. They're just underway in Anaheim, and that would be 2 teams headed in opposite directions. The Mariners have won 8 out of 9. The Angels have lost 10 in a row.
It's really hard to believe.
It is hard to believe.
That much talent with that club.
Astros are off. They will host the St. Louis Cardinals Tuesday and Wednesday. It's just a quick 2-game series, interleague. Strike called to Omar Mazara. After the Indians lost, the Tigers had a chance to pick up a game, but they could not. They lost to the Royals. So the Indians hold on to their 5-game lead in the Central over Detroit. Fouled at the plate, then it spins out between home plate and the pitcher's mound. So 0-2 to Mazara. If you're just joining us, Shin-Soo Choo was hit by a pitch by Detweiler. It was in the 5th inning. Went for x-rays, and he has a broken left forearm. A frustrating season for Choo continues. And that is why Mazara is in the game.
But I think you said it best. They have got an abundance of players that they can fill in. Remember, Josh Hamilton's out for the season. Who knows, he may never play again. But Mazara has had a great rookie season, although to maintain what he did in the first 2 months is hard to think that would happen. But
so Mazara chases that slider, and he strikes out. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th.
Good breaking ball, and Mazara went for it. We were discussing Adrian Beltre, that what he means to these players, and you get a player who's going through a tough time,
And Mazar is.
Yep, and that's where Beltre can really help him, because every player goes through tough times. It's just a matter, you're eventually going to get out of it. And remember, the Rangers came into tonight's game with 21, and then they had 3, so 24 innings without scoring a run, and one swing of the bat by the veteran Beltre. That's the difference in the game, the grand slam.
Desmond's got a couple of hits tonight. He's 2 for 4. 2 singles, and he has scored a run. These pitchers had 1 3-up, 3-down inning in this game, and it was the very first. Since then, there's been quite a few base runners for the Rangers. Short lead for Moreland over at first. That Mariners-Angels game is scoreless in the 2nd inning. The Mariners 5.5 back of the Rangers.
And of course, they defeated the A's twice, while the Rangers lost 2 over the weekend to the Tigers. And so, sure, the Mariners were happy to see the A's take an early 2-0 lead, but since have fallen down and now trail 5-2.
And the Mariners a little bit like the Rangers as far as their pitching goes, Ray, where they're just trying to get all their starters healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Saw where Carnes is on the disabled list now. Like today, I read James Paxton, good left-hander for the Mariners. Now it looks like he was scratched from the start. Valencia grabs it, couple steps to the bag, and that will do it. So last shot for the A's. It's the top of the 9th coming up. Dyson coming in, 5-2 Texas.
Here's tonight's Honda player of the game. One swing, 91-mile-an-hour fastball. A's with a 2-1 lead. After that swing, trail 5-2, and that's where we stand now. So Adrian Beltre, his 10th grand slam, 4th career against the Athletics, 4th career home run. He's at 36 in his career. Throughout his career against the Athletics, of course, with the Mariners, the Red Sox, and now with the Rangers. And that's the score. The A's, 3 hits, 2 runs in the first 2 innings, 1 earned. Since then, 2 hits. One of them raised on a double play. Matter of fact, both of them raced on double plays.
Here's the closer, Sam Dyson. He's 26 for 29 in save opportunities. 2.53 ERA, and he faces Danny Valencia. He's trailing by 3. Swing and a miss. Valencia, Davis, and Butler. A walk, pop out to third, and a single for Valencia.
Well, they always see where when a team is trailing in a ball game, you need base runners. Sometimes it's better to force the pitcher to throw a strike.
Yep.
And make him get a called strike instead of helping with the swing. Everybody is different, but sometimes a pitcher will try to get you to swing at a bad pitch. And Dyson's kind of in that category. He's a good pitcher. Took over the closer role. Actually, Mr. Tolleson gave up the walk-off grand slam to Chris Davis at the Coliseum.
Now 3-1. So Valencia, after swinging and missing at that first strike, now it's 3-1. So the A's need a couple base runners. Tap slowly. Beltre charges. Bare hand, the throw, not in time. So Valencia beats it out on a close play. And he's got his second hit.
Well, there's one of those where you swing and you're running out of the box, and he got a good job. Beltre, another great play, but just a little bit late. Playing deep, bare hand. If he's playing even with the backs, as Valencia running hard and able to beat it out. So good start for the A's with the leadoff hitter on.
So that is hit number 6. And here's Chris Davis. Strike on the inside corner to Davis. 0 for 3 tonight for Davis. A couple of strikeouts and a ground out to second. On the ground to short. Out at second, double play.
4 that the A's have hit into tonight.
So just like that, 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. So it's up to Billy Butler. Butler 1 for 3.
Take that back 3 that the A's have hit into tonight.
And both teams have hit into 3.
Yeah, 2 by with Perez on the mound to increase his lead.
Strike at the knees on the outside corner. Martin Perez, who was very good tonight. 7 strong innings. Bush pitched the 8th. Dyson here in the 9th. Now 1 and 2.
Fastball running away from Billy Butler, and see how his hips opened up. Did not get the pitch inside.
One out there again, 96 miles an hour, so 2 and 2 the count. Reach for it, poke to the left side. Moreland has it, spins around, throws to Dyson. He's there. And Butler is retired, and that will do it for the A's in the ninth. And game one of this 3-game series goes to the first place Texas Rangers as they pick up their 70th win of the year. So Perez gets the win. Detweiler takes the loss. Time of game was 2 hours and 42 minutes in front of 22,845. Final score, the Texas Rangers 5 and the Oakland A's 2. You've been watching A's Baseball on CSN California. It's part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's postgame live with Brody Brazil and Carney Lansford starts